Not recording. There's that. So if you wanted to clear that away, just hit clear text and it'll go away.
Okay. And that puts it basically above or below the room.
Correct.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is attached to where that summary node that you have added it to. So again, the one that's on the base cabinet, if you click on row 2 there, and you could just right click on it. Yeah, sorry. Go back up to the very top. It's even easier. And just right click on the line 2 there. And I always do it right at any place but there.
Anywhere but there.
Anywhere but there. I always head for the description because then I know that that's the one I'm looking at. And just right click and see how it says row notes right there. Click on that. Right in the center. There you go. And there's that one where it shows that internal. Now we weren't printing that because that's usually the thing that we want to come over into Shop Pack eventually.
Okay. I think this is the 101 reception is when we made a change to the adjusted price. Is that what the little blue?
Nope, it's an alternate. See the little checkbox to the right? So if you open it up a notch, hit the plus sign, there is one cabinet in there that's green. That's the one we made the actual adjusted unit price cost to.
Okay. So the plus means the alternate?
Correct. And it could be a plus or a minus based on if the alternate is a deduct or an add. And then it's blue because it's still sitting in a pending. If we had approved it, it would be green. If they rejected it, it would be red. The other thing I want to point out is, let's say they come back to you and they say, you know what, we don't want something. You know, they change their mind. We don't need 201 reception. Rather than deleting that summary node, just click on 201 and go up to the upper right there in that little tiny flyout panel, and you see right underneath your quantity. Nope, right where just to your right. Yeah, the little flyout. Right above alternate, you see ignored. If you ignore that, it pulls it out of the entire quote. You don't see it at all. So again, I don't know about you, but too often they tell you they don't want something, and then the job starts going. We changed our mind. We do want it.
Okay, so the red exclamation means it's ignored there.
Correct. Yep. And if you open it up, all the things underneath it are ignored too. Did someone just fall down?
Not yet.
Shannon's nervous. Fall through her ceiling.
It sounded awful. Oh my God, it sounded like you fell. I mean, it really did.
I had 2 people fall through from my office ceiling.
Oh my gosh. Awful.
So I get a little nervous anytime anyone's walking on the ceiling above me.
I bet.
Where I am.
I bet. All right.
One thing I was going to ask is that when I started a new project, it came in with like 3 products already in it.
Oh, that means we messed up our super secret background quote. So let's fix it.
Ah.
That happens every once in a while. People see new estimate and think that's the one they're supposed to grab, and they're really not. Go ahead and click your open folder for me. Just the main folder is fine.
Not the little arrow.
Actually, you can grab it. It's open here. It's the new project estimate settings down below. Keep going. One more. Oh, right in the center. It says project estimate setting.
Fourth one down.
Right there.
So this is the one that if you wanted to change something and have it always happen this way, this is what you would do. You'd open this up and you'd make a change to it. So first thing, just highlight all those rows in the center grid there.
Highlight them like.
Yeah, just grab them at the triangle all the way on the left there. There's a little triangle just to the left of the word row. Just highlight, pull it down now.
Okay.
And right click. And choose delete. Okay. So just for fun, save it, please. Just for fun, if for some reason you guys wanted to make other changes to it, like you had a set of comments you wanted to come in at the very beginning, this is how you would do it. You would right click, you'd do a summary note, and you'd throw in a bunch of comments. Most people use their header for that, but I have seen this happen. If you have something that you must have in every single time, no matter what, you always charge for this, or you always want it to start with that, you can do that. We can also make template estimates as well down the road. If you have anything that you do over and over, I used to do Le Creuset stores. So I had 4 different kinds of stores, and it was a template estimate. So whenever they called us, we would just pull in that template estimate and make any little quickie changes we needed to, and away we'd go. So we've saved it. It's all good. Go ahead and close it now.
Okay. The other thing I noticed on my new job was I'm not sure if I'm putting the drawing reference in the correct areas. Let me see real quick. So let's see. Now, if for the like drawing reference,
Scroll over to the right. Yep.
Keep going. I think it's all the way towards the end.
I do too. I think it's almost at the end, actually.
What you guys do yours does not reflect on mine.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Grab the scroll at the bottom here and just drag it all the way to your right. You went one too far. Okay, so you've got a drawing reference number right there. You see it?
okay. So if you put it in there, it'll show up in the print.
Yes. So now it depends. Do you want that to show up? Did you add that as a column in your quotes? Is that something you want to show up on your quote?
I thought we did.
Okay.
I did one time.
So just highlight it. You can paste it all the way down if you want.
Let's see.
Did you not put it?
Well, let's see. Okay. So if I go back and do a preview at this point, or
Yeah.
Well, you're still sitting in it. It's not going to do it.
okay. So if I go,
Click out of it so that you're not.
You're still in row 340.
Yeah. There you go. And now you can preview it.
I see.
so that needs to be probably checked in the.
So if we go to our, go right there. Click OK. Go to your column button right there. And let's add in drawing reference as one of our columns.
Now, on the first one that we actually got to where we want it to look right for Stroger Hospital, I logged on to Brian's computer and I set that output document. I made it default. So does that make it default for everybody in Project Pack?
It does, except for he probably started this quote before you did that.
Or he did, yes.
So once you view it, if there's any changes made, it's not going to remember them. You'll have to do them on this quote.
Okay, there it is. Okay, but now that I have made it default, any new quotes from this point on would have the new.
Yeah, let's just triple check that you did that. Go up to options for me. And come down to document. And go to quote. Go to your column button. No, we're setting up a global, so there's nothing to say okay yet. To document, quote, and then go down to your column button again. I don't see it, so let's add it again. It doesn't look like it's on the global. Did you sure you did it for quote and not take off? Did you move it down to the quote?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Well, let's just do it again. No biggie.
And then take away the selling price. We don't want that in there. And we don't want the item number in there.
You don't show the selling price at all?
No.
I mean, not on what we'd send out for a quote.
Gotcha. Okay.
Item number.
And then that should be good.
Okay.
Oh, you put the quantity in front of the item, don't you? To move that up one.
So there's an up-down button at the bottom right there. Yep. Perfect. And click OK. Click OK again.
Now these up here, like on mine, I tweaked them a lot, like how I wanted them to display. Does that save every, on my computer or?
Yeah, because you're on Shannon's computer now, so it won't have saved anything.
So each one of us, if we mess around, how this displays, as long as we do it on our computer, it'll stay that way.
Correct. You can also hide columns. So if there's a certain amount of columns that you guys don't want to see, and maybe you can start with a global setting of that as well. And if you go back up to options.
Because maybe she needs to be on mine. Because I have all mine checked and like the way I kind of want it. So.
Yep. But if you go up to options, I want to show you where that is, and come down to estimate. So go to the general tab at the top there. And go to the default tab. And over to the right, you have a hide display columns button. Just come down a little bit. There you go. Click on that. Right now we're showing everyone as the default. So, you know, certainly we can hide some of these things. You don't need to see formulas per se. You probably don't need to see all of the work groups right now. So you could uncheck that, and then the next quote you start, you won't see those. Now you can do it on an individual basis every time you begin a quote, but if there's kind of a set of global ones that you don't want to see, you can go ahead and turn them off here, and then go to your estimate settings and turn off even more if you want.
Okay, and this is because we're logged in to Shannon and she's the administrator. It would make it global.
Because we're in the global setting, we went up to options.
Okay, so she probably wants to be on mine to change it to the way we want it, right?
No, you want to do it here because this is for everybody.
Well, I mean, I've already done it, so.
Right, if I change it here and make it global, it will go to your guys.
Right, but you would have to.
I'd have to look at yours.
Right, you'd have to go back through all the steps, but could she get on mine and basically make that the default?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, because that's probably, I mean, so you want.
So how do I do that?
Same thing.
Well, you're just going to have to take a picture of it. It's not like you can click a button. And I don't believe you can make it the default. Go ahead and click OK.
Another one.
And is this your quote right here, Brian?
No, because it actually want to be, let's see.
Let's open up the one you did.
So that's, I guess we can do it that way. Because it's but see, this isn't right then, because it's displaying differently on hers. I think.
So,
or maybe not. I'm sorry, no, it's right. It's smaller. Yeah, okay. This one, finish that. So.
Still have formula in there. So go up to the two little check marks for me.
Two check marks.
They're right above the T in project. Those are your estimate settings. Yep. And go to the defaults tab and click on your hide display columns. So it doesn't look like you did anything because this should be showing it the way you saved it because it's based on this quote now. So once you, like if you were to remove all those work groups, go back down a little bit. Back up a little bit now. You just went a little too far. There you go. See the work group 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and uncheck those. And then scroll back up again. And let's get rid of formula. All the way up to the top. And uncheck the formula right there. Yeah. So now if you click to make default, that's the beginning of the global setting now. So that now the next time somebody pulls up any new quote, the estimate settings are going to have those things missing. Now you can always come back and turn them back on again within your quote if you needed to see them. Like let's say you wanted to start messing around with work groups, you could certainly turn them back on. But for right now, you guys aren't using them, so they're just extra space.
Okay, because I also noticed you can slide these like.
Absolutely. Now, if you've moved those, if that's what you're talking about, that is only held in your registry on your computer.
Okay.
So that's what you were talking about. I bet you that's what you were saying. You moved.
Yeah, that's because I drug like something.
Yep. Yep. So that's only on your computer when you open it.
Okay, but yeah, to turn the columns on and off.
Right, to hide them completely, you'd want to go and decide what ones you guys want to see and what ones you don't. But you can always move something. Yep.
Yeah, because that's what I was doing. I was basically dragging them from.
And actually, your quantity is moved over. Now that I look at this better, it is held on this quote because the quantity normally wouldn't be that close to the front. So grab your scroll and pull it to the left. Let me just triple check. You may be over already that many. Grab the scroll at the very bottom and go to the left with it to your right. Yeah, you definitely moved it over. Your width is front and your quantity's next. That's not the normal setup.
Yeah,
So it is holding it based on the quote.
With the width? I'll leave it there for now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you change on a regular basis, right? So it is holding it based that way. But if you want to hide something like that formula, you don't want to see it, it's not important to you, go ahead and turn those off globally, and then you won't see them on a regular basis.
Okay. I think we got that.
Cool. All right. What else?
I think that was all I had.
Anybody else have any questions?
The other thing is we can't email PDFs.
It gives us an error. Do you want to
show me? Yes, please. Is it a mappy error?
It was a something is already in use kind of error. Or
Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead, open this. Yes. Okay, Jack, Brian.
Ooh, I'm going to take a picture of that. That's one I don't know. I was hoping for a little simple mappy error one.
Oh no, that's got a whole message.
Yeah, that's a fright. Well, the mappy error is a whole message too, but I know exactly what that one means. This one, I don't know. Let me look it up and see if I've got anything, because somebody may have already had something like this happen, and then I get an answer really quick. So let me just make a copy. Now I can see it. And I'll put in the keyword, which looks like we'll go with WWPDF 400 W.DLL. Let's see if anything comes up. Oh yeah, sweet. All right, what happens if you try to run Project Pack on this machine as the admin? Right-click on Project Pack, run it as admin. Sometimes this is a great way to get around the rights issue. Are you able to save as a PDF then? Are you using something perhaps like Bluebeam?
I have Nitro Pro.
Okay, so that could be why. So let's
Brian
try.
yeah, I've got a completely different one. And
All right, so go ahead and close Project Pack for me, and let's try to run it as administrator. And right-click on it, on the icon, and choose Run as Administrator. Okay, open up the same thing.
Maybe.
It's thinking. You must have a huge screen.
No, I'm
Okay.
just, I have duplicated you onto a TV.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say it's moving way over to the right, which seems weird to me, but now I know why. All right, and click your email. Okay.
That's just,
okay,
that's,
perfect. Say okay.
nope.
Still getting it. All right, so then the other thing it says is, are you perhaps using something such as Bluebeam, and perhaps on this PC it is no longer licensed, and that's why the error is occurring? What if you tried using a different PDF viewer, such as Qt PDF? It's a free program that we use, and we do use it. It's all I use. So you can Google PDF Writer and download it. Since it's freeware, make sure you remove all the additional programs that they try to push through. Next, try to print the PDF and make sure it is pointed to Qt PDF. So let's try something. Go up to the preview button for me. Click.
So, you know, we didn't have this problem like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, click OK. And now our logo suddenly is gone. Doesn't like us.
Wait, I pointed to it.
Yeah, but you've been opening it on my computer the entire time.
But you went in as an admin, so I'm wondering if that somehow changed it. Go ahead and choose the printer on the left, sorry. And what is it telling? Change it to a PDF program for me. Okay, and click OK. And just save it to your desktop for a second. It doesn't see your desktop.
No, it's doing the same thing that it did.
So weird.
Well, let's do this. Where's my N drive? It's not even showing my N drive.
So we have multiple issues here. It doesn't see your desktop. It's now not seeing your N drive. You can't save to a library. Oh my goodness. Is it Friday?
I can save to OneDrive though.
All right. So it let us do that. Okay, so close it up. We know that it's now as a PDF. And I want you to go back to where it says File over on the left and point it to that PDF Nitro for the printer setup as well. Okay, cool. It's set there already. It's doing it. Say okay. Now try to send an email. Nope. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to pass you on to the higher people who know more stuff than me when it comes to networking and support and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we will go with that. Yeah, I don't see any answers other than what we just did. We could try to install the Qt PDF and see if that fixes it. Every single one, I've got 7 issues here. Every single one of them said it was resolved when they installed Qt PDF. So if you want to try to do that and let me know if that still doesn't fix it, I'll pass you up to somebody else.
What was it called?
Qt PDF.
So I use one called Do PDF.
Qt PDF. Now, as far as what's happening with your, you're not being able to see your desktop and stuff. That's really odd. I'm not 100% sure why that's happening.
So when these do generate PDFs, they're still stored wherever we want to put them before it shoots out an email.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll actually open the email up, and you'll see it as an attachment. And for my money, I would open it. Oh, did you?
No, I was doing this a workaround.
Like, oh my God, it worked! You got me all excited there.
I was sending it actually from Nitro Pro.
Gotcha.
Does it generate its own name, or do you have to name it?
No, it'll generate its own name. Yeah.
Because that one just said quotation.
Yeah, well, that's
So
because it's called it. Yeah, if it would have automatically saved it, and it would open up your email program, and it would have called it what that job ID was, and I would double click it, open it up before I send it, just to make sure it's right. Because gosh, how embarrassing if you send the wrong quote to the wrong guy. So I still would always do that, and I'm old school enough that this is pretty new to us, being able to email directly out. I always had to save it as a PDF and email it like you just did. So that is the workaround until we figure out what's going on. But yeah, this is weird. So like I said, try to download Qt PDF, see if it works. Is everybody having the exact same problem?
I don't think Jim's tried yet.
Okay, I would love for you to try. Oh, is that who you are? Is that your picture? Yay, yes. Now I know what you look like. Look how cute your hair is. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
No, it doesn't look like that today.
Oh no. Are you having a bad hair day? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
My bad hair day was a hat on my head. I would wear a baseball cap when I was.
See, that's enabled in Outlook for Outlook to be able to work with it.
Yeah, we found this in the past. It was with Bluebeam that would cause this. So I'm wondering if now we can add Nitro to the list that it's happening with them too.
You can add Do PDF, because that's the one I use.
Do PDF?
Yeah, Do PDF.
Okay. I don't know that one either.
Yeah, see, and I mean, that's going to be a problem if it's something with Nitro, because all of our project managers have Nitro. We use Nitro, and I think some of them use Adobe. Mm-hmm. So when it gets to the point that we're using ShopPack as well, I mean, we would have to pretty much say, okay, well, I guess we paid for Nitro, but we're not going to use it.
Well, I don't know that that's going to be the case. It's just, when you attach it, it's not like putting it someplace per se. It's still sitting here, so you can save it as a document any way you want onto your, like I would have a main server where I put all my documentation. So when I send something off, I'm going to save it off as a PDF to the job folder that's on the server. And so I would still save it as the Nitro PDF, but we're just talking about when you want to print something like this for it to be emailed directly out, we might need to send it towards Qt PDF. let's try it and see if that fixes it. If that solves it, then we'll go further up anyway and go to development and let them dive into your computer and your network and see what's going on. Because even the fact that you can't see some of your things like your desktop, that seems really off to me. So I almost want to get Jared to get in touch with you, Shannon, just so that he can hop on and see if there's something mapped wrong. It may be that it's totally internal and environmental and we need to have your IT people take a look at it deeper. But if this were happening to everybody, it wouldn't work. I mean, I have 7 instances going back 5 years.
Right.
So it certainly isn't something that's normal. It's almost always exclusively to Bluebeam. And so I'm just going to go with that. We can probably fix it pretty easily, but don't hold me to that.
Okay.
All right. So I've got a picture of it. I will send it off to Jarrett. But if in the interim, you could also please get me, have somebody download Cute PDF and try it and see if
Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Now, is that actually spelled C-U-T-E?
Yes. Yeah, you're just grabbing Cute PDF Writer is what it is.
Okay.
It's a great program. And I think it'll try to add something and just say, no, you don't want it. I forget what it is.
Okay.
It's great. It's a great program. That one and Lightshot is my other favorite for taking screenshots, and it's a freebie as well.
Okay. I think, you can have the mic again. I think we're done with all our questions.
Cool. No, those are great. That was great. I apologize. I didn't, jump right in with that. Normally that's how I start. So I was all excited to get going. All right. So I think we want to head into job spec a little deeper because we kind of just skimmed the surface the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at it a little deeper. Okay. So can we play with the Stroger? Is this our pretend one that we're messing around? Okay. Great. All right. So let's go up to our job spec. It's the thing that looks like a red Rolodex or maybe McDonald's fries, I've been told. Yeah. So you can see we've started a couple. So let's go ahead and start a brand new one again. So just right click for me in that estimate job specs and choose new. And let's call it, is your norm PVC edge banding?
Yes.
So let's call it PLAM edge banding. Because that happens, doesn't it? I love when the customer says, oh no, you have to use plastic laminate for the edge banding. Really? Now we can put in a really nice description here of what it is. If it's a specific color, you can put that in here. If you have multiple things, like you're also changing the pulls and maybe the slides and even the hinges, these are 5-knuckle instead of regular. I would put as much information in this description as I possibly can. I don't know about you guys. I have trouble remembering what I had for dinner last night. So
we have a non-ferrous one we do for MRI rooms, so that's probably the place we'd
exactly. That's exactly what you do.
Slides and all that.
And honestly, that's a great one because we will probably save that off then as a template that you can just grab anytime because it'll already be made. So do you want to do one like that? Do you have?
I don't have the hardware, and I don't think
I was just gonna say if you have the hardware, we can grab it. Otherwise, that'll be a wonderful homework assignment for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get all that.
Get the hardware, and I'll show you how to turn it into an actual template that you can use over and over. We're going to do it with this one anyway. Okay. All right. So go ahead and click OK. We don't need to put a description right now. So we're going to go ahead and, like I mentioned before, some people like to start with the default because it basically tells you exactly what it is you're wanting to change. So it gives you what there is and then what you want to change. For my money, it's an easier way of looking at it. Other people say they want to start with the blank because then they can just kind of find the things they want to change and alter them that way.
I like your way.
Okay, so let's throw in it. I was going to say we could do it both ways. So let's right click and choose the default. I like doing it with the default at first because what's nice about that is that you then learn what your defaults are. And choose load specs from template and choose default setup. Oh, we already made a plastic laminate edge banding one. We're going to do it again.
Is it okay?
Yes. And it's going to load it all in for us. All right, so let's start at the top where it says cabinets. Okay. And we're going to start at the very top over on the right where it says cabinet type PVC edge band. So since we know we already made a plastic laminate one, let's leave this one as PVC, but let's make it all 3mm edge banding. We're going to change what we called it. So we'll leave it as PVC. But now what we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to look for everything that talks about edge banding. So it's about quarter of the way down. It says 145 choose PVC cabinet edge banding. So now if you hover over those books at the end, it shows you that you're choosing that 0.018. And let's say we knew this was a 3mm job. So go ahead and click that. It's going to take us to our library and it's going to allow us to choose the fourth one down, which says 3mm 15/16 PVC edge banding. The fourth one down.
I was gonna have it fit to width. Does it not do that?
It won't do it. You can grab the column and just slide it over so you can see everything. Yeah, it doesn't do an auto width.
Okay.
So if you double click it, or you can hit the little double arrows just to your right. I'm a double clicker. You can also grab this bar that's right above the library items and pull it down so you don't have to scroll every time you open this. Again, it's going to save it now on Shannon's computer this way. Perfect. So now you don't ever have to scroll. We're at the bottom. So that's kind of nice. So you've already chosen it. It's over to the right. So go ahead and click OK at the bottom. So now we've changed the cabinet edge banding. So we probably want to change, do we think we want our shelves to be 3mm too? If we do, we can go ahead and click on the library books at the end of that. If we're going to leave them the same because it's just white melamine, we'll leave it alone.
This shelf.
So it tells you that that's the 0.018. Again, probably for shelves, but if the customer says, hey, the whole job has to be 3mm, well, then you'd change that one too. So let's change them all so they're all 3mm. Now that one's choosing white, and so we would just go ahead and pick our white one down below. Just double click it or use the little double arrow. Perfect. Okay. And was that the thick one we just did?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, hover over the books and let's see. It'll tell us what one we did. Perfect. Okay, it was not. We did that one. Perfect. So let's do the thick one now. The one below you.
Okay.
Yeah. And that one we want to choose. It doesn't look like we have 1 5/16 thick edge banding. So let's check in our bid price. Do we have it there? So up in your upper right for the subdivision, because remember the thick shelf is going to be 1 inch thick. And we do have it there. It's the third one down. It says 3mm 1 5/16. Yep. Nope, one up. Because remember, a thick shelf is going to be 1 inch thick. There you go. Perfect. And boy, we got to fix those prices because our 3mm is 70 cents and our 1 5/16 is 65. That's not right. That's okay. So then we come further down, we can see we've got plastic laminate doors. So we know for sure we want to change our door and drawer front edge banding as well. There you go, right there. And again, we want to choose our 3mm, our fourth one down. Perfect. Okay. And we'll just triple check. Is there anything else here? I don't see anything. But, you know, we might have countertops too. So do we think we probably would, if the whole job is 3mm, would our countertops be 3mm as well?
Maybe.
So let's click on our countertops next. Okay, and we can look over here. We've got laminate countertop edge banding. If we change that from laminate countertop edge banding, do we have a PVC counter edge banding? Two more down. There you go. What's our other choices? We do. So let's make it a PVC. Let's make this whole job PVC. Okay, and next it says choose laminate edge banding. Let's click that drop down. I'll bet you we see a PVC one. We do. And now our books are grayed out because we've changed it from laminate edge banding to PVC. So we're going to have to click on those books and we're going to choose that 3mm edge banding. And for a countertop, we would definitely choose the, we choose the 1 5/16. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if it's grayed out, that means it's not pointing to anything?
That is correct. So go to your bid price at the top, because that's where we found that 1 5/16.
Third one down.
It's way easier when we're the ones watching.
Mm-hmm.
People say to me, how do you see that? I'm like, you have no idea how much simpler it is when you're not trying to move that mouse around. So then right down below that, we've got laminate countertop splash edge banding. So since we're making the whole job PVC, we'll change that one as well. Nope, back up again.
Up.
Countertop.
2 more.
Right there.
There you go. Change that to PVC. And then change the next one down to PVC.
Why wasn't there books though attached to the one above that?
Because you're telling it what you want it to be. So if your norm is a laminate countertop, but we're changing it to be, and when you're seeing these are your norms right now, and we're just changing it for this job. So if there's no books, you're actually having to decide what it is you're going to do, and then it tells you to pick it after that. Great question.
Was this or splash edge banding?
Flashes.
I don't think have we ever put like different edge banding on the splash, like 3mm on splashes? It's odd.
I don't know, but if that's what they want, then we'd have to do the 15, 16.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Nope, you don't. You guys haven't done any schools or anything?
You didn't pick 3mm. Yeah, we do quite a few schools.
And yeah, they always tell us we have to put 3mm on it. Because it gets so beat up. Kids are maniacs.
Was it in
It's
here?
go under bid price.
The fourth one down.
Yep, fourth one. Yep.
Perfect. All right. So we come further down. We've got windowsill laminate. Again, maybe we would want to change that over to, not the sill, I'm sorry, further down. We've got PVC sill edge banding. And then you've got PVC sill edge banding with the books. So let's hover over those books and see what it's showing us.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep, perfect. So it's showing us the 0.018. Let's make that 3mm too. Yeah, I remember I had to do a hospital, and I didn't have an edge bander that did 3mm, and the entire job was 3mm. And so I subbed it all my edge banding out. I cut everything. I subbed it all. It was a nightmare.
Yep.
And after that, I got another hospital job, and I bought a 3mm edge bander. and it paid for itself really quick because the shipping stuff and things that got brought, it was awful. It was just awful.
Yep.
All right. So
quick question.
Yeah.
Now our defaults, they point to the materials like you already have set up. Like I noticed there was, a kind of a generic, just called it a wire pull.
Yep.
So like our defaults point to that material automatically.
Correct.
And there's no way to change that. Like say we wanted to actually put our whatever, like our wire pull manufacturer in there, that whatever we're buying.
Absolutely. Of course. We can put
and
anything
make it as our default.
Yep. Yeah. So if you change the name of any of your library items that are already a default, then it'll change it everywhere it lives.
So we'd have to change the material you put in, like, because I think I put in whatever our normal wire pull is.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it. Go ahead and click OK to this. And we'll go off on a little tangent here because that's a great question. Takes it a minute to calculate everything. So go ahead and open up your base cabinet there to any one of them. Just double click it so you can see what wire pull you are using. You'll have to click it on the little down arrow. That'll open it up for you. The one that's the plus minus, the second column over. There you go. Just double click it. And then go to the door regular, line 7, and hit the plus sign there. Okay, so right now your pull is a pull 4-inch wire satin chrome. If that is not your normal pull, what I want you to do is go to the library books above the E in manage.
Manage.
So there are all those little icons at the top there.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Oh,
Click on
library.
library books. You can also go to define library price book. That works too. And let's go to our hardware on the left. Yep, remember we don't have to scroll because we moved it down. And we'll go to pulls and knobs on the right. Okay, so which one is the one you added?
Maybe I lied. I think let's say we want. I know I put in the stainless, so I think maybe.
So is that the one you want to be your norm? Because right now, pull this down a little bit so we can look again. I can't remember if it's satin chrome or satin nickel. Sorry, the whole box. Pull it down so we can see the grid behind us.
The box down.
Yeah, just grab it at the very top where it's blue, the library price. Yeah, just grab the whole thing. So we chose the wire satin chrome is our norm. So if you wanted to make a change and you wanted it to affect every assembly from this point forward, you would go ahead and change the name of that right there. So if there's something additional you want to add to that name, go for it. If you want it to be actually something different, like that stainless satin wire, that's your true norm, then pick that instead.
Okay, so these are kind of locked together, so we basically have to change the material name.
So here's the thing. You asked us to make a set of assemblies for you. And within every one of those assemblies, you have all of these sub-assemblies. And they're kind of magical. They work with all of these things that we put in. Now, if you down the road do not use a Bloom 120-degree full overlay hinge anymore, and you want to affect everything, you don't want to go in and make a change. You don't want to use a job spec, which you could. You can go ahead and just swap it out here on a sub-assembly and it will change it for you. But even easier, if you just change the name of the library item, that will change it everywhere it lives. Now, of course, if you want both those things still, you can just leave it the way it is, and then whenever you want to change it, you can change it to the satin one or to a glass one or to the 96mm one.
Okay, so it is kind of the way you've set it up, that they're kind of locked together.
Very much locked together. Yeah, it is the door regular sub-assembly.
Okay.
And it's set right now as your generic default sub-assembly. So this is a great time. If this isn't the right one and you don't like that verbiage, that's not the way you want it to be, you use a shiny chrome, then we'll just change the name of the library item and it'll change it everywhere. If it's that you just want to have additional choices, like we've done here with the stainless steel wire, then let's leave it alone and you'll just choose it when you change it out for a job spec.
I think what Brian's wanted to know is if we have like a bar pole, where we put that in it. And I mean, now this is our standard. Do we just put the bar pole in the box too? And this?
No, that'd be in the job specs. That'd be a different.
Right, but if you want to have it as a choice, like you want to have, you've got here stainless steel bar pole now, signed 96mm at $4.51. So now if we go back to our job spec, go ahead and click OK here at the bottom.
Okay.
Let's open up our job spec again that we just started to invent. Yep. And go to the PLAM edge banding and go to the cabinets. And you've got fifth one up from the bottom says choose door drawer pull.
Oh, okay.
Click on the library books there and swap it out for anything in your list. So if you choose that one and click OK, now it's going to choose that instead.
Okay.
So that'll affect
this quote.
It'll affect the job spec.
Okay.
If you assign this job spec to your bid, to your estimate, then it will change it to that.
Right. Let's change the name of this one because we called it PLAM and it really should be 3mm. So let's right click on it because I didn't realize we made one already. I forgot how far we got the last time. So
right click on
the name itself and choose modify. And let's call it 3mm edge banding. And then you might even say with stainless steel pull if you want. Okay. There you go.
Okay, yeah, what I just was thinking of our default and like how things are tied together, but I understand. So,
And if they are tied together, like you're mentioning, there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
And like I mentioned before, if that verbiage that we've put in there is not what you like, I know sometimes when Dave does it, he makes them with the slide say ball bearing. That made me crazy. Of course it's a ball bearing slide. I don't need to see that every time, but I might want to see that it's a KV 4500 or something to that effect. So you can actually change that library name so everywhere it lives, it'll show up that way.
Okay.
All right. So say okay. And let's go ahead and apply our spec to this 201 reception. Let's unignore it too, once it's all done. So click over on 201 and unignore it. It's the little checkbox to your right. Okay. And now remember, we can apply a spec at the very top of the job, at the base bid level, or at any summary level below it. If we do it at the very top, it affects everything, including a change order if we added one. If we do it at the base bid, it would only affect the base bid summary levels, not a change order. And if
So you can't apply it like, sometimes crazy architects, you've got one room, but you might have 4 different colors in that room.
Right. So you can't do that.
So you have to make a different kind of subcategory in your room or something.
Yep. So you would make that room 201, and then you would say, if it's one desk is one color and the east wall credenza is another color and the wall panel is a third color, yes, you could do that.
Can you show us that?
Sure.
I kind of understand.
Yeah. Let's apply this one first. So right click on that for me, that 201,
Okay.
and go down to job specs and choose assign. Because right now we haven't picked which one we want. So we're going to choose that 3 millimeter edge banding. Okay. And you're going to click OK. So right now our cost hasn't changed. It's still $594. If we were to run a line type analysis report, click on line type at the bottom for me. And go up to the little hand holding the paper right underneath the word contacts. Yep.
Not doing.
And go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that we still show our regular wire satin pull is there. Our edge banding as 0.018 is there. Nothing has changed. It shows it's been assigned, but it hasn't been applied yet. Okay. So go ahead and close the report. And now let's right click on it, and now we're going to apply it.
Right click on 201 reception.
And come back down to job spec and choose apply this time. Okay, so you can see down in the bottom right corner it says applying specs. You're going to watch it. It's going to calculate. It's going to show percentages, etc. Okay, so now if you were to click on the summary, it's still thinking, sorry. Now if you were to click on the summary at the bottom.
No.
Oh, that's fine. You can do it that way. That's cool too. Yep, click OK. You can see that it's showing our PVC 3 millimeter edge banding now in the material, the very first one. And if we look up to the top, air pull is the 96 millimeter stainless steel bar pull. We went from $4 to $31. So now if you close this and you go to your summary, our price went up from $594
Bottom tab.
all the way at the bottom to $658. So we added, $60 for edge banding and pulls. Make sense?
Yep.
I'm going to butt in real quick. Are we recording this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good job. I actually should put a big note on mine to always record you guys too. I keep, I have a couple customers that are like, nah, I don't want it. And then I've got others that are like, yes, oh my gosh, please.
Yeah, we're one of those.
I'm going to put you guys as one of those. And again, if you remind me, that's even better. But so let's say that within a room, you've got base cabinets that are one color, wall cabinets that are another color, and tall cabinets that are a third color. That you can do with one spec. So if you were to go ahead and open up your spec again, just go to the very top and hit that button again. That looks like your specs. And click on your 3mm edge banding.
I guess, yeah, I understand how to do that. I think what you're saying, but like, say I want to, I guess what I was getting at is maybe like I want to add, can I add a summary in here and say it's like like west wall, whatever I did.
Ignore.
Click your change. It would have changed it to the right way. That's okay.
So that's still in reception, right?
Yep.
And then, okay, if I said west wall, then I could add the stuff in there, and then I could assign a job spec just to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's kind of what I was, because I understand how in the job spec you had so many, you got base cabinets, wall cabinets, countertops, so you could do it there.
Yep.
But saying, in a job, maybe you got, 4 different laminates for each one, and you want to say it like this is like we did the west wall, and we're going to apply, it's whatever spec, west wall spec that's got, the different solid surface and all this on it.
Correct. And you can remove that spec right now by right-clicking since there's nothing actually in there. So if you were to right-click on that right now.
In this?
And go down to job specs. And, oh, it's not even assigned yet. It's just inherited because we did it that way.
Okay, so I could assign, if we assign, let's say we assign test 2 to this one.
And then you start dragging things in, it's going to apply that all to it then.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that's the highest level you can apply a spec at. Right.
You can't apply it at an individual product.
Okay. So we'll have to create, whatever, like, or we can call it like the elevation too, like elevation, whatever. Okay. Got it.
Yep. Okay, now let's say that within a base cabinet, they want you to put a completely different pull, like they've got some weird pull they want to throw on there, or you have to change out something about it. You can actually do an individual thing as well. So if you click on that base cabinet above you,
this one,
and just open it up in the main section in the middle grid there, hit the plus sign. And if we were to go to our door, which is 2 up from where we are, line 8.
Okay.
Hit the plus sign. So now you can double click on that 96mm stainless steel bar pull. Double click fast.
Oops. Double click in here where I'm at.
Just double click on it. Yep, right there. And you can see it brings you a action. Choose replace. And it's going to open up your library. And now you could choose that $11 pull above you. And double click it or hit the little arrows and click OK. Now it's going to ask you a question. Please indicate the scope of the change you want to do. If you wanted to do the whole job, you could click on base bid. If you wanted to do all of reception 201, you could click on reception 201. If you just want to do it in this particular one, we just happen to have that highlighted. So before you would click OK or click continue, you would move the button to where you want it to be. In this case, we only want to change it in this one. So we're going to click continue now because this is the only one we want it to affect. It's going to say all occurrences. If you hit the drop down, you can see you have choices. You could choose, a part name, or some people, if they're doing several things, they might choose, put a number in the time button or in the waste so that it only affects that. Certainly for us, we're just going to leave it as all occurrences. This will be your norm 99% of the time.
Okay, so it's just changing on this one cabinet.
Correct. We're only on this one cabinet. So click all occurrences and click OK. And you can see it says 2 because there was 2 doors.
Okay.
And click OK. And it immediately changes it to the $11 pull.
Okay.
All right.
So you could probably do this with say you got one different solid surface
You
top
got
or
it.
something.
It's exactly right. This is the old school way. When I first bought the system back in '01, this was the only way you could change library items. You would go line by line or room by room and double click on every one of your library items that you wanted to change. Oh my God, it was horrifying. Job Spec does that for you by just going down that list and changing everything that you need in that room or that job. If you have 5 different specs, make 5 different specs up front so that you can apply them as you go. So Job Spec is probably the most powerful tool in all of Project Pack's arsenal, because it takes a normal job that you have quoted and turns it around to something completely different in no time. And ultimately what you'll do is you'll make several templates that you can use over and over. Once you bring a template in, like we brought that default template in, we can change it as many times as we want. Now, as long as we don't re-save it as a template again and do it over top of that, we can have that as a brand new template. And the minute we bring it in, it's only showing on this quote. This is the only place you're going to see it unless you turn it into a new template. So let's say we wanted to make that 3mm a template that we could use again and again. Go ahead and open up our job specs again and right click on that 3mm edge banding for me. Right on the word. You right clicked in the white. Yeah, there you go. Now right click on it and choose Save Specs as a template. So here you have the opportunity to go ahead and change something about that description. If you don't want to, if you love it, it's exactly the way you want it, you just click OK. And it's going to go into our existing templates of templates. And now when the next time we hit new, we're going to see that one too. So click OK.
Can you delete specs without it hurting anything?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. A template spec like that you just made.
So when we come back and we want to get rid of all these tests and all this stuff, we can, delete them.
Well, the tests aren't in anything. The tests are only living in this particular Stroger Hospital job.
Okay.
But the 3mm, we just made a template, which is real. I mean, it's a great spec you just made. I mean, the entire job is 3mm edge banding. Next time you guys come across a spec that needs that, boom, you grab it, you pull it in, and now any other changes you need to make, maybe all the interior laminate or all the interior melamine is black instead.
Yeah.
They're
we're gonna make one called Athletico because we've got Athleticos that are always black melamine and they're always
exactly. So you go ahead and make that all the interiors as black, save it off as a black interior, black laminate, or black interior, because I know anytime we did anything with veneer, they always wanted black interior. So I just made a wood veneer cabinet, and I would say it was oak or cherry, and then made black interior. Boom. Anytime I need it, I pull it in. And even if the wood was different, pull it in as that spec and just change what the wood is then. Because all of those interiors are a big deal. All that edge banding is a big deal. Plastic laminate edge banding, big deal. So make a handful, like you said, you've got the non-ferrous stuff. Make a quote that's all non-ferrous or a template that's all non-ferrous so that it changes all of your material to aluminum product, so that you can go ahead and just apply that whenever you do a hospital job for an MRI room. It's brilliant, right?
Yep.
Very cool. So that is pretty much Job Spec in a nutshell. What I want each of you to do is I want you to go into your little quotes and I want you to make some cool specs and, make several of them. Apply them at different levels. Make one where when you click on the cabinets over on the right, hit that plus sign. In your Job Spec products, go ahead and hit the plus sign next to cabinets. And make one where the base cabinets are different than the wall and tall. Maybe the wall and tall are still the norm, but the base cabinets are wood. So if you click on base, now you see you have your own subset of base cabinets. And you can change just those. And that's the only thing changing. The wall and tall are still plastic laminate, but the base cabinets are all stained wood. So I want you to make a spec where that happens and then apply it to your quote and see what it does. Because the coolest thing about wood is that it turns on extra labor for finishing, and it turns on all the finish too. And you have the opportunity to say what kind of finish it is and whether there's a glaze of some sort. That was part of your predetermined things. Same thing with the drawer boxes. Right now you show that you have a white melamine drawer box. Well, I'm sure there's a wood one in there too. So change it over to a wood drawer box.
Yeah, you were going to check on that because our default is now defaulting to melamine, but is that?
Yeah.
We don't have wood in there, plywood in there for the side.
Do you need a plywood or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
our
were gonna check on
default.
the formula.
Oh, crap. I
Yeah, I thought last time we
click the drop down on drawer box type for me.
drawer.
It's at the very bottom. It's like third from the bottom. Yeah, you got a pre-finished one right there.
Okay, I mean, I guess the problem was that our defaulted to melamine, but
Oh, and it shouldn't be.
No.
right.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me take a picture of this. I apologize. I don't know if I just completely spaced that. So you want it to be the pre-finished or the dovetail?
Pre-finished.
Okay. All right. Let me write a note to Dave right this minute. I might have done this now that I'm thinking about it.
So there was a couple other things that we talked about too, as far as the solid surface tops with cove and.
Oh, I know I did that. I know I talked to him about that because you guys wanted some additional lineal foot made. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the countertops should be lineal foot instead of square foot.
Yep, I definitely told him that.
We needed to add the overlay die walls, overlay straight, overlay curved.
Yeah, you actually sent him a big email. I got it. I remember this now. Oh, it's all coming back to me. All right. So he did not get back in touch with you, Shannon?
I didn't send him an email.
You sent it to me and I sent it to him.
Okay.
Yep. I remember it. I remember it vividly now. All right. I will double check what's going on and whether he has, why he hasn't responded to you, because he's definitely going to want to get a copy of the database and set it up. I even have an email begun here that says, in order for Dave to do the original changes to the lineal foot, I'm going to need a copy of the database. But he was going to look in the database he had already and double check a couple things before I sent this. So this is sitting here ready to go to you to get me a copy of the database. So as soon as he tells me what he's really needing, we'll go from there.
And all I have to do with that is upload it to your FTP site, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We also had the issue too where we're not seeing the products, like the 3D pictures of the products.
Yeah. So, let me look. Where are mine sitting? Let me see if I can find where mine are. Graphics.
Yeah, we see where they're supposed to be. Like I was in something, and I was like, oh, this is where they should be, but they're like all the files were, or the structure was there, but nothing was in the files.
Let me see. I know some people bring them in and kind of have them. They've got their own set of them. They should be. Let me look. Do I have them here? Trade soft, project pack, images. Yeah, I've got a set. So go to your, oh, there they are.
But the whoops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, they were not in there before. I'm serious.
Well, good.
What did Dave do?
He didn't do anything. I mean, that's there. They are there.
It was not there yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's the preview part?
Oh, funny. So go ahead and click OK to this. And click your show graphics over on the right. That's hysterical.
Those folders were empty yesterday. I'm not lying.
I'm telling you, you have got some weird networky issue. Why can't we see your desktop too?
I don't know.
I don't know that there's going to be a countertop one. Let's go to Cap Base. You'll have to close that there.
Oh.
Let me see if I have them for that as well. Give me 1 sec to open up mine. I never want to see mine.
Now that he's going to be messing with the database, should we maybe wait a little bit and come up with a bunch more things that we need to fix, or?
Yeah, mine is definitely showing up on the ones I have. I can send this to you again if you want.
Yeah, see, and that's even where it's looking.
Yeah, see, here, let me show you on mine. Yeah, it's looking in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's looking in program files. Mine is in, I think, program files x86. Go back and look in
That's where mine is.
Okay, it's like it's pointing to the wrong place.
Yeah, it's x86. So why is it looking in the wrong place?
I don't know, but let's because it's sitting in x86. Let's move it to Project Pack. Let's move it to program files since that's where it wants to be. Close this. Go back to your C drive and grab that whole image. Just make a copy of that image folder. Yeah, go back to it. Yeah, don't move the whole thing, just the images. And just right click on that, make a copy of it. And then paste it in your program files.
I don't have one.
No, just paste it in there anywhere. Doesn't matter. You're just adding it to the file. Click continue.
Really?
She's like, are you kidding? Isn't it funny? It says, you can't do this. Click continue. Yeah, you can.
I mean, I'm an administrator on my computer, so there's no reason anything shouldn't.
It always cracks me up every time I see that on my own computer. It's like, hello? All right, so now it's there. Close this. Close Project Pack.
Well, you know, the thing, because it's going program files, trade soft, project pack, images. I don't have a trade soft folder in regular program files.
Yeah, you're right, you don't. Why is it pointing there? Huh.
I mean, so it can't find anything.
And is it happening on everybody's like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Put the 86 on there, maybe we can't see it.
I'm going to send this one to support because I don't know the answer to this one. Graphics file. Here is theirs. Oops. Okay, and let me take a picture of that. Why is it going to program files and not program files x86? Okay, I put down who this is so I don't forget. Horizon group. All right, I've already got the one to Dave gone. And now I will send this one off to them and find out why that is doing it. And everybody's just pointing to program files, and there's no TradeSoft folder in program files.
I'd have to double check Jim's. I haven't looked at Jim's, but I'm pretty sure Brian's is doing.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I'll check.
Okay.
Something's going to blow up.
What is up? Okay. All right. I will send that off to support. Okay. All right. What else? What else can I tackle? Not really.
I mean, did you have more to go over? Or
I think we're going to look at the change order.
yeah, we kind of.
I was gonna add a change order, yeah, and see how you do that. So,
Yeah, we just hijacked the whole entire training.
that's
So-
great. No, and you know what? This is great. I love these kind of trainings. They're my favorite kind because I sort of have to rein everybody in again. But what it tells me is that you guys are absolutely playing. You're absolutely doing things. I would much rather have this kind of a training than where it's like, okay, let me show you this next. And everybody's like, yeah, we got it. And I know no one's getting it. You guys are getting it. You're diving in and you're saying, well, what the crap? Why isn't this working?
Yeah, pretty much.
I like this kind way better, so don't ever
Okay.
feel like you can't hijack it. All right, so let's add a change order. A change order is kind of an addition to a job. It's right at the same level as a base bid. So it's not going to come in under a base bid per se. It's going to be on the same level with it. So in order to add it, you're going to go all the way to the top of the job. So I always want you to kind of think of it that way. If you were to right-click on the base bid and choose what you're doing, it's not there. So the second you do that, you're going to go, oh crap, it's got to be at the top. So go to the very top and right-click, and now you see Add Change Order. So it kind of explains it to you better. It's like it's at the same level. If you run your finger down from base bid, you can see that change order is on the same par with the base bid. So call it Change Order 1.
Does that, can you make that be automatic? Or?
You can't. Nope. CO dash comes in automatic. Other than that, you'll have to put in the rest.
Okay. So we got to remember how many change orders
You'll
we have.
see them.
Okay.
Oh, you'll see them. Yeah, it'll be right above you. Okay. So as you come down the row, you can see you can lock a change order, you can ignore it, you can no print it, just like you can a base bid. You also have a change order status. If you click that drop down, you see you've got pending right now. Submitted would be after you send it off to the customer. Accepted would be when Bob on the job site says, yeah, this is a go. And then approved, you like how I said that? I know Bob on the job site. When it's approved is when the owner says, yes, here's a signature for you on that contract, and you can go ahead and make this. The beauty of those two, I've had people say, well, what's the difference? The difference is that if you've ever made something that Bob on the job site told you to make, and then you try to bill it to the wonderful owner, and they say, yeah, sorry, I didn't sign a contract on that. I never approved that. You ate that cabinet. And we've all done it. So we've got a nice little default in here that makes you send it to approved. It also will not allow you to bring it over and convert it to ShopPack until it has been approved. Again, supposedly stopping you from making this prior to anybody telling you to make it. Now, of course, if you got a PM like I used to have, he went out to his favorite cabinet maker and said, hey man, make this for me. Or he'd call. Can I talk to Bob on the job? Yeah, and he would get the okay, and away he'd go. He'd be making this, and we'd be eating it later. So, you know, hopefully we can stop you from doing that. Every time you change it, it changes color. So if you go down to accept it, it's a really cool purple. And it asks you if you want to lock it, because let's be honest, if it's been accepted, you don't want to make any changes to it, just say no, because we're not going to really leave it at this. But it would lock it. If it's been approved, it would be bright green. So change it back to pending for me. Yeah, it's like a blue purple.
It's a different color on the TV than it is on the.
So change it to what?
Pending again. Okay. So down below, you've got that same location. So if you wanted to add something about it, whether that's your drawing reference or whether it's the room or whatever you'd like to use it for.
Okay, that location doesn't show up anywhere else, right? Like on the reports or?
It shows up on every product that you drag in. So every assembly you drag in, it'll automatically fill it in for you. And then when it comes over to ShopPack, that location will be listed on there. So if you wanted to use that for your drawing references, you could. Okay. And it would fill it in automatically for you. Some people like that better because they don't want to have to hand type the drawing reference on every line like we did a minute ago.
And then on the quotation, we would just remove the drawing number, whatever, and add in location, and then it would show that next to everything instead.
Correct. Plus, it automatically fills it in for you on everything inside of that summary node, and it brings it in over on the product row for every one of those products that you bring over to ShopPack. And it'll even print it on a label for you if you want.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cool little gig. So some people like that better than using the drawing reference. Okay. Further down, you can see it'll tell you when you convert it to ShopPack. It also can be used with specs the same way, so you can apply a job spec to it if you need to. But the coolest one is that profit markup. It is independent of the entire job. So let's say we gave this job away at 5% profit. It's going to come in with whatever that global profit was, which in this case is 10. And if this is something that you're feeling really bad, you want to give them less money, you can certainly play with the profit. Or if you gave the job away and you got to kind of bump up the change order profit, you can bump it up right here. So that's one of those little magic numbers that you can play with in a way that you can't. You know, if you go to room 201 reception, you cannot change the profit on just that unless you go individually on line by line and change it. This is a global thing. If you set it here at the top of change order 1, everything you bring in is going to come in at that profit markup. It also allows you to have a due date and a submitted date, as well as the status date being whatever that status happens to be. So if tomorrow we change the status to something different, it would absolutely fix that for you and make it be the next day. Okay, there's a subset of reports that are run specifically just for change orders. So, oh my goodness, someone fell down again.
She's knocking on the window. Oh, Nick.
So if you end up having 15 change orders under here and they're all in differing stages of statuses, and maybe you just want to look at the ones that are in a pending status, you can actually go up to reports and run a change order report. You can do it for all of your jobs if you want to, or just an individual job. So it's really neat. I mean, I used to write, sometimes I'd have 50 change orders on a job. You know, you do an $8 million hospital, there's a ton of change orders. And they start to look really funky, like you've got 17 that are good and 17 that are rejected and 15 that are in, you know, accepted but not approved. And, you know, so it definitely helps you out to kind of keep track of them.
Are you going to go over what the, you know, how to send this to the contractor and how sometimes they have to write a novel explaining why they have to pay more money?
Yes,
You know?
of course. So, of course, if you want to write a novel, you can certainly do it in your notes, or you could even make a comment right here at the top. So if you right-click right now and choose to add a product, or summary note, excuse me, over on your left, just like you would a normal job. So
okay, so
yep,
okay, yeah.
right-click and add a summary.
Okay.
Okay. And call it change order 1.
Is that the best thing to do, is to just call it the same?
Whatever you want. I mean, whatever is normal for you. If it's referencing an RFI, sometimes I would put that in there so that it was very descriptive to the customer. If it's a deduct, I might put change order 1 deduct. If it's a deduct of room, you know, 105, I might say change order 1, and I would maybe just do CO1 deduct room number 5, and you know, you can put in as much or as little information as you want. You know, it kind of depends on the guy that you're dealing with at that point, right?
Yep.
So you can now drag in some things to this. So grab, you know, something, it doesn't matter what. Turn off your graphics thing because clearly that's not working. Dang it. I was all excited. You're like, these were not here. You're right, they weren't, because they're in the wrong folder. It's so weird that it's not referencing the right folder, and that is so like IT PhD. That's not me. He didn't hire me for that knowledge. I told him that when he hired me too. He's like, oh, I'll be able to teach you. Nope. I mean, I do have some knowledge, but if it gets too deep in there, it's like, no. All right, so you can see we're dragging all those things in. Again, like I mentioned before, you can always increase them, decrease them. If for some reason this was a deduct, you might actually, you know, right-click on reception 06 and copy it down into the change order, and because that's what they're deducting, and then just change what you're giving back. You're not going to give back all of it, maybe. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
So let's say they wanted you wanted to write something about this. You can certainly do it in your notes, but you can also do it in comments. And some people prefer that. You can do it in your letter, if that makes more sense. And so what we can do is we can create a change order document, which usually makes the most sense. So go up to the options button for me at the very top and come down to your document. Okay, and go to your quotation document for me first. All right, I'm just going to take a little quickie picture of this. All right, and I want you to go down to, excuse me, go down to your document number 9. What we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new document. All of those documents with the numbers underneath it, we can make them anything we want. So change the verbiage there on that title to say change order. Yep, right there. My son is up with my dad at our summer home, and he just helped my dad put the boat in the water. I just got a Snapchat picture of it. My dad's been fighting the whole process of the fact that he's getting older and he needs help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to call it change order. Let's change our logo and add our logo in there. Yep, perfect. Go ahead and click your logo button and assign from where it's coming.
I'll put it on the end drive.
So I think it's in the right spot, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's right where it needs to be.
No.
Yeah, no.
No. Go up one.
Yeah, this is right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty smart once you've said it once. In the other one, you have your quotation set to 2 for the top margin. And go ahead and print your address there. Yeah. So
click the checkbox.
Okay.
Click that, and then make your display width. I don't know, what were you making your
I think it was
display?
5 actually here.
Okay, 5 there. And then was it in the center or was it on the left?
It was left.
Okay. Click OK. Now the top margin here underneath the title there where you just added the logo, on your quotation you have it set to 2. So most people like it to be the same. So go ahead and make that a 2 as well. You can always change it, but we're just setting up of the beginning. So let's go to the upper right where all of our options are. Put a checkbox in the second one where it says ship to. It doesn't look like on your quotation that you've added an acceptance signature area, so you don't do that. They must sign it some other way.
I don't know. So
They usually just send an email that says, "Okay, go. We'll get you a purchase order."
But,
or
I mean, we could put that on there. It's a
yeah. Do this fourth one down, the print acceptance signatures.
this one.
right there.
That one, yeah, it's nice because it puts in the information. Go ahead and hide your company country because you only use the U.S., so you don't need to have that. Just keep going down the list. One more up. Nope, we want both of those checked.
Oh,
One is
okay.
you and one is your customer.
Okay. Yeah, for a change order, I don't think we want a letter. I think, if we just did whatever, the straightforward form on it, just put some text.
We could actually put in the header what that whole spiel you were talking about, like this is why you got to pay and da-da-da. That could be part of your header. Go ahead and put 2 check marks in those next 2 boxes, hide detail and hide product. Printing alternates, we want that. It looks like you are breaking out your installation. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, put a check mark in those 2, breakout installation and breakout delivery. And then uncheck the miscellaneous ones that are further down. There's a print miscellaneous. Yeah, uncheck both of those. It's thinking hard. Okay, and come on down and we're going to click on our column button. And let's get rid of the work groups. We don't need those. So highlight each of those and click remove down below. You got to do them one at a time. I don't think you have to actually highlight it. Once you're on it with the little arrow, that's good enough. Yeah, there you go. Quantity is good. We want that. Item is good. Finish top we don't want. So click on 3 and then 4 or 3 again. And now let's add the other 2 things that you did have. I think it was unit of measure. Was that one of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was the other thing we said? We said drawing, but do we want to change it to location?
No, not right now. I don't.
Your architect drawing reference.
Yeah, that's what it was before.
Now I do want to tell you that you see how you have a label here? If you wanted to, you could change the label on the location to say drawing.
Something different.
You could have it say drawing if you wanted to. So it'll pull the location information, but you could say, if you go ahead and click on location for me and add it just for fun, and then get rid of the word location in that label too, just backspace over it, and put in drawing and make it DWG for now, so that it looks very different than the other one. Perfect, okay? And click OK. Let's go to line type next, to the right. So I only think the only thing we were showing was comment, right? Or do you show the products? I can't remember.
For a change order, I'm wondering if, I don't know, we can put products in for now.
Okay,
See,
so
play
click,
around.
click product, item, 2 down from there. And also do comment in case you throw a comment line in there. Okay, and click OK. And then go to tree node last. And let's choose change order. And go ahead and print the header. Again, maybe subtotal, maybe not.
No.
Okay. Notes, if we've got them, we'll want to put that in there. And then under the header is the notes.
What's that? Under that? Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir. And click OK. All right. Last but not least, over here on the left, we've got that alternates and change orders to your left. Yep. We'll get rid of that header because we don't need that. We're calling the whole document change order, so we don't need any kind of header like that.
Don't need any.
Yeah, just highlight the whole thing, get rid of it all. And you don't print totals, or do you think for a change order you might?
I don't know. We'll have to play around with that.
All
How
right.
the best
So let's play around. And click the change order button just below you. And go ahead and include pending, submitted, and accepted. Probably would never send them a rejected one, but you know, if you ever wanted to, you can do it on the fly. Okay, and click OK. Now, ultimately, you want to come back in here and add that header legalese information that you talked about before. It's just right under here in that user text header. And we won't have a letter for this one, so we won't even click it. So you should be good to go. Go ahead and click OK. So this is a one-time gig. We've set it up. We don't ever have to do it again. If we love it, it's perfect. Yay! Every time you go to your document settings, it'll be there for you. Now, of course, you'll probably tweak it over the next couple of weeks, so don't feel weird about it. But you do have to choose it first. We haven't chosen it, so say no. Okay. Yeah. Because remember, the last document we chose was a quotation. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to ignore the base bid because we only want to show the quote in.
Where's that at?
Over on the left, the word base bid.
Base bid.
In your tree, yep, and click the ignored, which is in your little flyout button. There you go.
Okay, so if we don't do that, it's going to put all the stuff.
It'll show everything, yeah. So if you're really wanting to show the change order with the base bid, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But this one, we're just going to say we only want to see the change order, right? We're just going to choose our change order document.
Okay.
So let's go to our blue and red. Our document settings again above the word assembly. And this time choose change order. There it is. It's right above document 10 at the very bottom. There you go. And click OK. There's all our normal settings that we just set up, so we're good. And click OK. And now preview your document. There's your change order. And there's that acceptance stuff we talked about, which is kind of nice.
Signatures.
Okay, and when you put in the text, it'll show like in this area or.
So if it's a header, it goes above these 8 little definitions here where it says attention. The header would print right above that. Let's look at what it looks like. Go ahead and close this and go back to your document settings.
No.
Hit no. Go to your document settings.
Blue and red.
Oh, it's okay.
We can actually turn off that letter too. I forgot to do that. Click OK.
This header?
Yeah, click header right there. And go ahead and say, yeah.
Have to pay
$1 million.
And click OK. And I think because we already had one letter in here, we can't turn it off now that I think about it.
Where'd the rest of it go?
Yeah, what did we change? Go ahead and close it. That was weird.
I'm telling you, the Horizon Group is cursed when it comes to technology.
Is it? All right.
Yes.
Well, we just find out how the best way to break stuff is so you can learn how to fix it.
I am sweating right now. Choose the blue and red. I'm having a massive hot flash. I don't know if it's because I'm freaking out that stuff isn't working or go ahead and click OK. The heck happened? You hit header. That's all you did. There's nothing else. Click OK. Put the footer in too, just for fun. Right? Footer goes here. Or pay now. Click OK. Click OK again. And preview the document. up. I'm not going to lie. Oh, and look, and I was wrong. It comes below that, but above the quantity. So there's where the header is. You have to pay.
Okay.
And if you guys don't like this setup here where it's got the attention and the project and the terms, if you didn't want that, that's that project detail. It's the first little checkbox at the top of the options.
Okay.
Some people love that, but it is static. Like it's going to say PO number. You can't change that verbiage unless you pull it out as a Word document, which I know you don't want to do.
Yeah, this is much better than what we're doing, is like writing a completely different Word document.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Who wants to do that? So now you can also see this drawing reference, which is the normal one, but then the location one we've changed to be DWG, which honestly I think might work better for you guys, because then it automatically applies it. So you don't have to type it in on every row. Now, of course, if the room has got different locations or different elevations that you really do want to specify a different one, then the location thing isn't going to work because it's kind of a one-shot deal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So, so there's your document. See how pretty it is? Now, it is coming down pretty far. I don't know if you want to go 2. I think 1.5 might be enough.
Okay. Yeah, we can play around with
But
this.
yeah, I would definitely mess around with it and see what it looks like and see how it looks best for you. But yeah, that is a change order. And now, like I said, it's there for all times. I had a customer earlier say to me, oh my God, that was the most arduous thing. Please tell me I don't have to do that every time I do a change order. I'm like, no, it's all done. He was like, seriously? So now I'm starting to say that like while we're doing the changes. Dave used to say, yeah, look it up. It's easy. You can figure it out in the user guide. I've been walking people through it. I think it's faster if I just help you do it. So, any other questions? I think we're at a great stopping point. I have given you a plethora of information today to deal with.
My brain hurts.
What was that? Your brain hurts? Yeah. So feel like it's going to explode. And it's Friday, no less. So you're going to walk out there and go, I don't even know what
I don't think any of us are usually here at 3:39 on a Friday afternoon.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I have got you on the schedule next week. I'm going to just triple check. I had somebody where it had expired, so I didn't have them. I have you next week, Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Can I have that marker, please? Okay, so next Tuesday, the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
1 p.m. our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, did you guys want me? I know we talked about this earlier in the week. I do have, space in between if you wanted to move your Friday up a bit. Would you like to go earlier?
I mean, you mean on a Friday?
Yeah.
Like earlier in the morning?
Well, I've got from 12 o'clock Eastern on where I don't have anything, and then I have you guys at 3.
So that's 11. That's usually lunchtime for us.
Yeah. So I mean, if you wanted to make it at, at 2 o'clock, I could do it at 2 o'clock instead.
Yeah, this isn't too bad, I guess. I mean,
okay, that's cool. If you like it, let's leave it alone then.
Okay, so then the 15th we will have it at 2 o'clock our time.
Right. Yep. And that's your norm. I've got it kind of locked in for the next few weeks that way. So if there's changes that need to happen, let me know. All right.
All right.
All right. Everybody have an amazing weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That's cool. You can just change one product code